Good morning. I'm not totally sure where to look because there's two cameras. So if it looks like I'm looking at the wrong camera, it's because there's two. And this morning we're in the Windermere office in the Lakes, and I'm with. I didn't forget your name.
Oh right, Victoria.
Sound like I forgot her name.
I was like thinking, you've forgotten it already, Phil.
No, I haven't. Because Samantha is off gallivanting on holiday as usual, up in Norway, which is probably colder than here today. Which to me doesn't sound like a holiday. Have you been to Norway?
I haven't, but I would like to go.
Would you?
Yeah, it appeals to me.
It's not for hot weather.
It would be different.
Every time I say to my wife, "Do you want to go skiing?" and she's like, "Yeah, but what's the alternative?" Oh, Barbados. Yeah, I think we'll go.
Well, yeah.
So, anyway, the purpose of this live is because it should have been yesterday for our weekly Ask AJ, but we forgot because Sam wasn't here to tell us what to do, and therefore we're going to do it today. So we're going to quickly discuss what happened in the mini budget and what impact we've seen, and then what the buyers are saying right now and what's happening, and then what we think is going to happen over 6 to 8 weeks, although making any sort of predictions over the last 2 years has been quite risky. But I think we have, on the most part, been proven correct in terms of how strong the market has been and how it's held its own, ignoring all the madness that's been going on around it. So I'll start with the mini budget and what we saw and what we expected and all of that. So there were rumours sort of end of September time, coming up to Liz Truss becoming Prime Minister, that there was going to be an announcement about stamp duty, and the initial reaction inside the industry was obviously positive. The last time it happened was summer 21, I think it was, when Rishi Sunak did it, and the perception of that was that it created a huge demand in the market. The reality was the demand was already there, but the perception is reality, and the perception was that it created a mass of new buyers. So we were expecting the same impact, but we were hoping it would have a similar push through that would carry us through the end of 2023. Although it was a much smaller, less impactful change, any positive news was wildly accepted, certainly after what we've had the last 2 years. And so then when it actually came out, obviously they decided, and we won't get political at all, but they decided to add lots of other tax cuts within that, which obviously had the opposite effect of what they were hoping and sent the markets crazy, and the pound plummeted and etc., which the Bank of England then decided to raise interest rates to try and save the pound, and that has taken mortgages crazy. So the logical thing from all of that is that the property market would suffer because people can no longer get, or are willing to get, the mortgages and pay what they may be. And that may be the case in the future. I'm sure there will be some sort of effect. Although I do think the rates will come down as people settle down a little bit. So for the 2 weeks following the mini budget, it was very similar to what happened in Brexit, where we were getting the conversations of where buyers and sellers were both feeling a little bit nervous. We were getting some lowball offers with the, as you would, an opportunist saying, look, the market's going to crash, this is what I'm willing to offer. But we were trying to get our sellers to hold their nerve. It wasn't the time to adjust prices and overreact. So by holding their nerve for the first 2 weeks, we soon found that viewing numbers came back very strong, and in fact week on week from then we've been heavily up. So that brings us to today, or the last week or so. So Victoria, you what do you do here?
So I'm a client executive here at the Lakes office.
What does that mean?
So I basically take a client from start to finish on their journey, from getting the home to market. We go and do the styled shoot at their home. We do sort of an interview with the client and get them to discuss their home in detail, and then we see that process through, so viewings, feedback, negotiated on any offers that come through, to that home then completing.
Yeah, and you're fairly new with it, and in the industry actually. How long have you been with us?
6 weeks.
6
yeah,
weeks.
so
It feels like forever. That is a good thing.
Yes, yeah.
What have you noticed a difference in terms of viewing numbers in those 6 weeks, but also what message the viewers are giving you?
So in terms of viewing numbers week on week, we've not seen any drop. The demand is just as strong for people to come and view our homes, absolutely. In fact, some of our diaries were struggling to get people in, so not seen any drop off on that at all. In terms of what people are saying when they come to a viewing, there has been a few questions, of course, following the mini budget, but on the whole, it's still very positive. We're having offers put on homes over asking. We're having such strong demand for some of the homes that we're going to best and final, perhaps more often.
After watching the news, I don't know if you do not watch the news, does the amount of interest that's still out there surprise you?
It does really, but we know what the media's like, and how they will portray the stories. And of course, when we see a sort of small bounce back on anything, then they don't like to tell us about that. So it doesn't surprise me. Some of the questions that crop up, but no, on the whole, from my viewers and from the homeowners, of course they've got a few questions, but nothing negative. Like you say, we tell them to just hold the nerve at the minute. We wouldn't like to do anything in this time period where the media's portraying things how they are. And
at what price points are popular at the moment?
We had a home in Kendal go under offer last week. That was at a sort of lower price point around...
But toppish of Kendal.
Yes.
Not toppish of Kendal, but quite high for Kendal, isn't it?
It is, yes, yeah. But such strong demand on that home. Really, huge. Really, it went crazy. First day of viewings, the home secured a great offer.
Yeah.
So there was definitely no shortage of demand for that sort of price category.
Which is surprising because that's more of a likely market to want to get a mortgage.
Yeah.
Which surprised me because actually on the other end, so I've got a home in Windermere at 1.75 million, which has also been very popular.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, that secured an offer, I think, third day in.
Yeah.
And we've had viewings throughout this week for that home. So, at that price point as well, we're not seeing that the market's slowing down at all. There's plenty of interest and offers coming in.
And what's fueling all this is in 2007 and the previous crash years, there was a lot of properties on the market, and therefore when the buyers' numbers reduced, which they may have done now, logic tells you that would happen, there was then lots of options for them to go at. The stock levels have still never recovered from the first time we went into lockdown all those years ago, 2020. So there's still and I can see it in my diary, there's still, the news is affecting sellers as well as buyers. So therefore, the buyers pool may have come down, but so has the stock on the market, the number of properties for sale. And therefore that's keeping prices really high and really strong, and the turnover is really quick. Now, obviously we're getting, there are still some homes that are sticking longer than they were a year ago, and that's always going to happen. And we are going back to a level of normality with that. Pre-COVID, it was fairly normal for homes to be on for 6-9 months sometimes. And that's been alien for the last 2 years. And we are definitely going back to that. But for the next 6 to 8 weeks, I expect the viewing numbers week on week to keep building and keep rising, probably to the beginning of December, where people hopefully will take will take a few weeks to relax and enjoy Christmas. And I think stock levels will slowly come down towards the December time, and hopefully then homeowners around the Dales and Lakes will see that as an opportunity to get a higher price because of the number of homes on the market come early January and our Boxing Day launch. So we do actually feel quite optimistic about the market over the next 6 to 8 weeks. I'm hesitant to give any opinion or prediction going into January. I will further down the line, but for the patterns we're seeing in the homes, yesterday we put on a home at 1.5 and 2.75, and we've had a great response, million that is. And there was a home in the Dales that Lauren put on, I think it was around 450. that had previously been on the market with a couple of agents, and we were inundated and sold for well over at best and final, including offers over 10% of that. So there's definitely still a market out there. It needs to be priced right, it needs to be marketed right, it needs to be skillfully styled. But if you get all that right, please don't be scared or feel it's the wrong thing to do to go to market. It definitely isn't. We would tell you if that was the case, and you can see it on Rightmove. You can see the homes that are going under offer and how quickly they're doing it. So that's it. Anything you'd like to add?
No, just, you know, what's in the media isn't always the true representative of what we actually find on the ground here.
Don't watch the news, just watch
Yeah.
us. Everyone watch us and we'll tell you what's happening. Carlisle up to 7th, and we're selling homes. That's all you need to know. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Cecilia's going to run to the camera now because you sat down.